So I have some perspective, if there is any. I know it's for athletes who want to work in the industry, but if there is anyone that maybe worked alongside athletes and are trying to get in, maybe they were a student manager at their college or something like that, we would share the same perspective. So that was kind of my path, just going along, working with the teams and kind of getting my way into the industry that way. And so I think that's a different perspective. But that's also a story of like, it doesn't have to look one way. Like there's not one way to get into the field. There's everyone's journey is completely different.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Athletes Unite Conference podcast. And the focus of the podcast and the focus of what we're doing is just to continue to raise that awareness, for one, with the emphasis on mental health leading up to the conference on July 15th and 16th. But in addition to that, just introducing athletes and former athletes to different opportunities along the lines of business, along the lines of entrepreneurship, career, and all of those different things. And with that being said, I want to just shout out this episode's sponsor. So shout out to ORCO, because they're a place and they're a home to where they don't just respect differences, but they truly celebrate them. And they believe that innovation starts with inclusion, and to create the future we need with the people who have diverse backgrounds, perspectives, and abilities. So shout out to ORCO for the sponsorship. And now we're going to bring a young lady to the stage, to the platform, who I'm excited about meeting and learning more about. She's Miss Katrina Clayton, and she's a woman trying to shift the culture, and she is with the NBPA. Katrina, how are we doing? How are we doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Glad to have you on the platform, and glad to be able to dive a little bit into your story. Who is Katrina Clayton?
Well, first of all, I'm happy to be here. So thanks for having me. Um, but yeah, my story, who am I? I am a girl from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised, work in the sports industry, trying to help people, trying to help players become the best versions of themselves, trying to help people become the best versions of themselves. That is who I am in essence. I am the friend that's a helper. I am a person that has always seen like the bigger picture of things. Um, and so, yeah, now I live in New York, back again where I was born and raised, and working with the MBPA, and excited to kind of work along with these great athletes and kind of help them get to the next level, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love it. Do you mind talking just a little bit more about what you do with the MBPA, and can you just share what the NBPA is for those who may not be aware of the great work that you all are doing?
Yeah, for sure. So the NBPA stands for National Basketball Players Association. So we are the union for all NBA players that play professionally. We also work with former players as well, along with some international guys. And so the union, it's interesting because most people our age, right? Like I'm just gonna assume we're around the same age. We don't necessarily have a union, right? Like you don't really know unless you work in an industry that has a union, like if you're a teacher or something like that. And so our our goal is to introduce ourselves, whether you're 19 getting drafted and you have a union, you're like, what does this mean? Why do I have a union? Why do I have to engage with you? Or whether you're ready, whether you're a star player, you're part of the union. We essentially work for the players. And so our job is to one, like make them aware of our presence and what we have to offer, because we are there to support them, protect them, and amplify anything that they need. But of course, if you think about someone that's going to get drafted tomorrow, right? Because tomorrow's the NBA draft, do they even know what a union consists of, right? Like, why do I have a union? Who are these people? How can they help me? And so we have so many resources at their fingertips. And it's really a way for us to continue engagement and just let them remember that we will always be here. And so we're not just this like entity like HR or something like that. We're actually here to help along the way. So players have a lot of people in their lives that are helping them, whether it's like their boy or their manager or their agent, and we're just like another piece of the puzzle that's here to kind of guide them along their journey. So it's a brotherhood. And I'm a woman, of course, but like it is a brotherhood, and there's a lot of powerful women driving that brotherhood. So I'm definitely happy to be a part of that moving force. There's a lot of great minds at the union as well. So we're definitely here. It's changed a lot over time. They have a lot of ties in helping players amplify their voices, especially around like social justice and things like that. But even just regular things, right? Players with foundations, players looking for opportunities as far as like, just getting their self more out there with brands and things of that nature. It's a deeper conversation, but it's very different from like an agent getting you a deal. It's very different. So it's interesting. It's been a learning process for me, and I'm learning every day. But it's definitely an amazing place to be. And so, we're always doing something new, and it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really exciting, especially just like what you alluded to before, like it being like a brotherhood, and it's one thing, right, to have family, friends, whoever else who might have been with you as you were growing up, and then you get drafted, and now I'm not gonna say every case, right, Katrina? It's not every case, but these people may be in a position to where they're wanting something from you, but with you on the other side, and the MBPA, you all developing them, and you all wanting to just make sure that they're equipped, right, to where they can make the best decision with the information that you are provided with the programs you're putting on. And I mean, I think it's really essential because I've heard about the MBPA here lately, but didn't necessarily know about it before. But seeing what you all are doing, I think really is changing the game, and help countering some of like what a lot of people talk about, I believe, with like, maybe collegiate athletes before they go pro, and they're like, well, they don't have financial literacy skills, or, they need soft skills and different things like that. So, I just want to give you your kudos and give you your flowers, just with the work that you all are doing, because I know that you all are really, really changing some mindsets, but then also cultivating skills and things like that as well.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I'm about a little under 2 years at the union, and my entire experience in the sports industry, I've always known the union to be doing just great things. So it's great to be on this side, having been on the team side throughout most of my sports career. It's definitely different to see it from this angle, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what excites you most about being a woman in sports? Because I know that if we look at the industry, that women in sports are doing really great work. Women in sports are like, the cream of the crop, and y'all have some innovative ideas and think about some stuff that other people on the other side of sports don't necessarily look at and think about. So I'm curious, like, what really excites you being in this field and doing the work that you're doing?
Yeah, I think for me, like, so obviously it's male dominated industry. And then there's a lot of these minorities, including myself, that are coming together to create like community. And I think that is outside of like what we all do. I think that is like one of the things that excite me the most. You see it in the tech industry, right? Like people rallying around minorities, pushing them forward, and that itself creates like a great camaraderie. And I think most industries may have something similar, but I think when you have the numbers that you see, like in sports and tech, where the minority number is so small, right? Like I'm a woman and I'm a black woman and that. And I guess depending on the type of jobs I was going for, I could be seen as like younger, if that makes sense. And so being able to kind of like break barriers and grow, but also like create community, create opportunities for, you know, a young girl in Brooklyn that looks like me and doesn't think that she can, like, get to where she wants to get to, but may see me or someone like me and feel like it's possible. I think that is for me the most exciting part, outside of like what we're doing, because everyone in the industry obviously does like different things, but being able to just kind of like be a part of some type of inspiration, some type of representation, um, and obviously like we all have so much more to go, and but you can always inspire at any point in your career. And so building community has been something that has excited me, because I always say I'm probably the only person in sports that people around me know, if that makes sense. Like if you're not in the industry, like my family, my friends that don't work in my industry, I'm probably the only black woman they know that works in sports, outside of like everyone that I know from the industry. And so every time I do a panel or every time I have I'm in a new environment where people are like, wow, I never even, like outside of commentators, I never even thought of like, black women in these kind of roles. It's always, it always makes me feel good, and it makes me feel like, I am potentially representing something that is growing. I'm seeing, like you said, I'm seeing a lot more women in sports and organizations that are coming forward and people getting opportunities as well. I think that's another big thing, getting the opportunities and giving them to people who maybe have not been able to get them in the past. Um, so I think that's really what excites me, the growth and the community aspect.
Let's go. Let's go. Kick that door down. Let's go. Let's go. So I'm curious to hear your thought on this. Why do you think it's important for athletes to unite?
Oh man, I feel like with anything, like when our community comes together, when people come together and there's not a lot of chatter, you put your differences aside and you can come together for something. I think that that is just so powerful, like with anything, even with friendships and relationships, right? Like people have arguments, people have disagreements, but if you align on the same purpose moving forward, like that is so much powerful than like thinking about the differences that you may have, or the personal gripes that you may have. Like coming together for one purpose is so powerful, because I think you get so much more done by uniting.
That makes sense. That makes sense. What I think the phrase is, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Yeah, I really love that quote. Really love that quote. So as we're coming up for the conference, it's what, July 15th and 16th. If you have not got your tickets out there, people listening, get your tickets, because them things are going. It was a couple hundred. Now we're down in the double digits. So get your tickets. But what is it that you're looking forward to most, Katrina, about the Athletes Unite conference coming up in July?
Yeah, I'm just excited to share my knowledge, share my story. Um, it's often that I get questions about like how I got to where I am, and how people can get to where I am or similar. And sometimes it's hard to, because I was that person as well, asking questions. And I try to respond to everybody, and sometimes I can't. But I love conferences like this because it allows for me to get the information out more widely, and then I'm able to talk to people on the side, share, my information. I love talking to people, and just giving out what I can give. If that makes sense. So I'm excited to just meet new people who want to learn more about what I do or my journey, and see how I can help them. And I have a unique story because I actually wasn't an athlete. So I have some perspective, if there is any. I know it's for athletes who want to work in the industry, but if there is anyone that maybe worked alongside athletes and are trying to get in, maybe they were a student manager at their college or something like that, we share the same perspective. So that was kind of my path, just going along, working with the teams and kind of getting my way into the industry that way. And so I think that's a different perspective. But that's also a story of like, it doesn't have to look one way. Like there's not one way to get into the field. There's Everyone's journey is completely different. Um, so I think I'm just excited to share my story, meet new people, meet inspiring sports professionals, and see how I can help.
I think that's dope, really, for you just to share the fact of you not being an athlete coming up, but you're still involved in sports. And I think it's easy, and I might step on some toes, but ignorant for us just to, see the sport and just to say, oh, well, the only jobs that exist are on the field, in the pool, on the green, or wherever. But if we want to be honest, there's a lot more of jobs that exist outside of those four lines, or, outside of that green, or wherever it might be. And the crazy part is some of them might pay more than in those areas, and where we have to compete. So yeah, I can really appreciate you sharing that, you hitting on that, Katrina, because now I'm seeing a lot more people and a lot more students wanting jobs in sports. And I don't know what their track record is with sports, but it's just great to know that there's many more opportunities, and there's definitely seats at the table for us all.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah, yeah. For us. So Katrina, where can everybody find you? How can they follow you and connect with you, to continue to stay tapped in to the work that you're doing?
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn, Katrina Clayton. You will see me there. And then I'm also on Instagram, the Katrina Clayton, same thing. So those are the two places you can find me, and I'll look forward to connecting with you guys.
Excellent. There it is. There it is. Katrina, thank you so much for taking the time to grace the Athletes Unite Conference podcast. And I look forward to meeting you in person. And you all out there, you can meet Katrina in person as well. You just gotta get your butt to Atlanta, 15th and 16th of July, and you can meet her, get to hear her story, and also meet a lot of amazing other individuals who will be able to connect with you, who you can build your next relationship, your next best friend, who knows, your next job. So just click the links down in the show notes. We're gonna have Katrina's information, as well as how you can get your tickets. But family, until next time, on behalf of Classy James, as well as myself, Jonathan Jones, this is the Athletes Unite Conference podcast, and we will see you in the next one.